Hi, welcome back. We're your hosts. I'm Cole.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is CTRL-AC.
CTRL-AC is the podcast where we talk about life hacks, such as, how to acquire a company for free.
Yeah, just get one.
It turns out there is actually a way to merge two companies, to buy out another company without spending any money. You have no control over it. It just kind of has to happen.
It just has to happen.
But there's a way to do it, and we'll get to how to do that.
We'll get to that later. For our first story, this thing's kind of been blowing up.
It's been rumored for like years.
Yeah, it's been in the works since Google announced their starting AI in 2016.
Yeah, this is the Humane AI Pin. This is such a crazy product because it attempts to redefine basically how we use our phones, or how we
what is a computer?
Right, the age-old question. This is a computer. It's a computer that you wear all the time. It's meant to replace your phone. It's meant to replace your smartwatch. Right. This is like your one piece of technology that's
This
on
is like
you.
your new smart device that you use for everything.
Right.
That's what it's trying to be, but it...
And guess what powers it? Artificial intelligence.
But specifically ChatGPT.
So this is they showed it off at the Paris fashion show to kind of get people to associate this with like good looking clothing.
I haven't actually seen it. I've only read about it. Hold on. Let me look at a picture.
Click on the link and just look at it. It's a pin. It's a square pin.
Oh, it's a square.
Yeah, that you wear on your clothes. And we'll get to that in a second. And
it looks like a tile,
it's like a
tile
square
that's shiny
tile tracker. There's an image of this person wearing the pin on their blazer, which is probably the only piece of clothing that can support this, which we'll get to. But it's a $700 smartphone that just doesn't have a screen. So this is a constantly running AI device that's just kind of on your chest at all times.
But you know what it does have? A $24 a month subscription.
Right. It's $700 and then $24 a month.
But that also does get you, is it T-Mobile or Verizon's network that puts you on?
T-Mobile.
Yeah, so it puts you on T-Mobile's. That puts you on T-Mobile's 5G network, and it's also essentially just
that gives you access to all of the AI stuff you're doing. So how do you interact with this? It's not just like Siri, because that'd be unfortunate.
Hey, Open AI Pin.
Hey,
Humane. Oh, that's a weird sentence.
So to interact with this, you stick out your hand in front of you, and the thing projects a screen onto your hand. Mm-hmm. And if you move your hand up, it moves with your hand. So
it does move.
Yeah.
I thought they said it doesn't move. It's like your hand has to be in the place, or else
it'll actually move.
Okay, it does move.
So if you move your hand up, it'll wait a second because it doesn't want to adjust 100 times a second because it'd be impossible to read.
And that'd be a bunch of battery power too.
Right, which is also an issue, which we'll get to.
Makes sense.
So you move your hand up, the screen follows you. You rotate. It's think Vision Pro hand gestures. So you twist your hand, you move your hand around, and that sort of lets you interact with it. It's just a one color screen. It's all blue.
Oh, it's blue.
Yeah, and then you just call people, respond to texts with it. There's a video of it, and it looks really bad.
I feel like this would not work well outside in the daytime.
I didn't even think of that.
When you can barely see your phone screen in the daytime.
My 15 Pro Max gets to 2,000 nits of brightness, and that throttles pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that's kept in my pocket.
Every iPhone has throttled quickly too.
And that's kept in my pocket. If this thing is always on you in direct sunlight, if you're out playing golf or something, the thing is metal.
And keeping a laser cool is a whole different...
It's just collecting all of the heat and then projecting a laser. So we don't know how that's going to work.
It's just going to start burning your hand, inscripting the screen onto your hand.
You get burn-in on your palm.
It's yeah, man, my laser got too hot. And I permanently have 12:32 p.m. embossed on
branded
my
on your hand.
branded with my notification.
That's actually hilarious.
Text from mom, 12:39 a.m.
Permanently there.
Permanently.
So the pin itself, the square thing, it magnetically attaches to your clothes via a backplate magnet.
Okay, so it's like a name tag.
Right, but the backplate is the battery.
Oh.
So that you put the battery like in your shirt, and then you take the front part, you snap
Right.
it to it. That's how it gets charged. The thing is heavy. So like in all of the demos, when you're wearing it with a t-shirt, the whole t-shirt is sagging.
I heard a bunch of people saying they would put it on their shoulder, like here.
Okay, I guess
It'd be like
makes
this
sense
instead
too.
of like this.
Would you not bump it on stuff?
I'm not running into walls all the time.
I don't know. Feels like that would get in the way.
Or like here, just like on your shoulder blade.
Yeah.
Or not on your shoulder blade. Like right above
I know
your
what you mean,
armpit. Yeah.
It has ChatGPT built into it. So the first way of interacting is to do the palm thing with the laser. The second way is you can just kind of talk to it. And it has a camera. There's a security light so you know when it's recording. But you can kind of just walk up to stuff and ask it questions. And it knows how to answer it because it knows what you're looking at. So there's a example that they used. The employee for Humane was holding a handful of almonds.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked the AI pin, how many grams of protein am I holding? And the thing responded, the pin responded and said 15 grams of protein by looking at the almond, which is like wildly inaccurate.
Okay, I mean, actually,
A handful of almonds. It was like 5 almonds. It's not 3 grams of protein in almond.
I thought you meant like, okay.
It wasn't like a 2-hand cupped
Okay.
almonds.
And
it
almonds
was like,
don't have that much protein.
right. If they had 3 grams of protein in almond, like,
A bulking season.
It'd be great,
Crazy.
but yeah, it doesn't work. It
I mean,
says,
that seems like such an easy thing to get right. Like, outline the almonds, count the almonds, and if they're overlapping, take a wild measurement of the hand. Like, take an average measurement of the hand.
right.
Take an average measurement of an almond. Put them together.
You just count the
Yeah.
almonds and then
It
Google
doesn't
it.
seem simple, but it seems simple at the same time.
That's the thing, though. I just said take the almonds, and then I said Google it, which they're not using. That's the problem. They're not using Google. They're using ChatGPT.
Right.
So the big problem with this is that they're using a flawed database.
Yeah, and ChatGPT just makes things up.
And it's very confident.
Yeah.
Like it will lie to you, and then you can ask it, "Are you sure?" And it will
like,
say,
"Yes.
Yes, this is it." And then if you correct it, it will say, "Oh, my bad, I was wrong."
Like
Here's the
it will
answer.
consistently get math problems wrong too.
Right.
Like you can ask it like square root of 64 times like 9 cubed, and it will just get it wrong.
But it'll show you the math too that it used
Yeah, and
to
it'll
get
break
to
it
the
down.
wrong answer.
But it's wrong. It'll be like square root of 64, 32.
Are you sure? Yes.
Yes.
And then you say, actually, it's 8. Oh, my bad, it is 8. You're right.
It is 8.
Here's the same math, but now
Now it's 8.
equals 8.
And then
instead
it
of
gets the
32.
9 cubed wrong, like 9 times 3 or something. It's so bad.
It's accurate sometimes.
when you talk about like historical things, like things that are like widely documented. I mean, I guess math, but widely documented because it has a database.
Things that aren't as abstract.
Right. Like who was the 13th president,
Right.
which is a very commonly
Like Barack
documented.
Obama. But until they fix that, this isn't going to be an accurate source of information.
No.
It's kind of scary that this would be your only source of information, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I think there was an example where he walked up to a book and just said, "Order this book." And it was like, done.
Yeah. Okay. That is another
Which is
terrible
terrifying.
thing. Yeah.
Because, like, if you walk up to something and then just say, "Order it," like, where is it placing the order? Is it getting the new one or the used one? Does it search the internet for the best price?
And it's using ChatGPT. How does this even work?
If you stare at a toilet paper roll and be like, "Order this," is it gonna order one, or is ChatGPT going to order me like a freight pallet of toilet paper?
Like hundreds of rolls of toilet paper.
We don't know. I wouldn't give this thing your credit card yet.
No.
it takes photos, it takes video. All of that is accessible not on the pin because there's no screen. It's accessible via the Humane website. So it's all cloud-based. I have no problem with this thing as a whole. It's really cool tech. The problem I have is that they want this to replace my smartphone.
Right.
And there's absolutely no way that that's going to happen.
This is an accessory, not a replacement.
I love my phone. This pin is not...
Maybe a replacement for a watch. Because you can just be like, boom, time. Same like hand motion, except without a wrist rotation, right?
Right. And as inaccurate as ChatGPT can be, I would take it over Siri.
1,000 times over. Like, look, watch. Where am I? First, you have to tell me where you are.
Gets doxed on the podcast.
No, it literally says first, you have to tell me where you are. And then that just cuts off. It just doesn't tell me.
Say, enable location services.
Enable location services. Okay, turned on.
Now ask it again. So it just proved
where am I? First, you have to tell me where you are.
Well, you have my location. Yeah, and therein lies the problem. So I don't know. It's $700. You can order it now. I don't really want to drop $700 on this thing. I'd love to try it. I just don't. I'm not ready for this to replace my watch. Also, I don't want this thing on my shirt.
You know where you could put it? If you wear a backpack a lot.
How do you use the screen?
What do you mean?
Oh, you mean on the front, like on the front strap?
Yeah. Like if you have like a thin strap, like at the bottom, you just clip it on. Maybe hold it on with a zip tie.
Or just wear a smartwatch.
Or just wear a smartwatch, and all your problems will be fine for like $300.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT has an Apple Watch app, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Or you can set up a shortcut.
Yeah.
And Siri knows almond statistics a little better. So,
how much protein is in one almond? 30 grams.
30 grams?
Oh, protein in one almond per cup. Is that what I asked?
So it doesn't know either. So it doesn't know either.
How many grams of protein are in a single almond? 30 grams of protein in a cup of almonds.
So we found the question that stumps AI.
Almonds. Go to ChatGPT and ask.
Okay, ChatGPT.
And then I'll Google it for a reference of an actual answer.
How much protein in one almond?
Hold on, let me give you the actual answer.
I think it's 0.25 grams.
Did you just get that out of nowhere?
I saw that on the article.
It's 0.26.
0.26. ChatGPT says they're experiencing high demand. I guess everyone got their pin delivered. So it doesn't know either.
Who asks this? How much protein is in 10 almonds a day?
Some guy who just got his Humane pin and can't figure it out. All right. Speaking of Chat, our entire episode today is like all ChatGPT. So, OpenAI, boy, there's a lot about this company. They had an event. They announced that they are making a no-code way, so you don't have to know how to code to do this, to make your own ChatGPT agent. Okay,
so previously OpenAI had a website where you could go and script your own
GPT model.
Yeah, model based off of their knowledge base, right?
Right.
But you had to know how to code. You had to know, what was it, like C# or Java or something? I don't remember which one it was. But you had to like script.
Right.
And this is a way to not do that.
So you can make your own ChatGPT. You can theme it however you want. So they used an example of like a cookbook GPT. So you can ask it questions about cooking. You can do that with the normal GPT, one might say. The thing that's cool about this is you can use your own data to train this model, which is very scary and very interesting and has a lot of questions. So you can upload your own data. So you could drag in your entire cookbook and then you could ask it questions and it would pull from your cookbook that would ideally know nutritional information for almonds. Like it'd be more accurate.
Right.
You could put into this model stuff from the internet. So you could train it on a person. So you could put like all of our podcast transcripts into this and then just ask it questions about anything we've talked about. And it would ideally have quotes and answers
Yeah.
just from stuff we've talked about.
Or because it's bad, it would just be wrong.
Yeah. So this is cool. There's going to be an OpenAI store so you can like buy other people's GPTs.
Oh, okay. Wait.
They don't have any sort of like content moderation thing. So there are going to be some like sketchy GPT models coming out.
I'd say first week there's going to be way too many GPTs on how to make
Bomb
drugs.
GPT.
Well, I mean, it's hard to get ChatGPT now, even with...
No, but you're training it with your own data.
I know, but it's still going to have parameters set.
Will it? Do we know yet?
It has to. They can't not.
Because unrestricted ChatGPT.
Somebody made that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting. I'd love to make my own. I don't know what I'm going to theme it yet.
Does it cost you to make your own?
No.
And do you get money for selling them?
Yes. Or I don't know if you can set your own custom price, but you can sell them and get money. So speaking of OpenAI, my goodness, where do we start? So we'll try and run through this as quickly as possible while still being thorough. So ChatGPT, we all know what that is. It is the fastest growing consumer product ever, or it was at least before Threads or something. Millions and millions of active users every month. It's crazy. So that's going great. It's made by the company OpenAI, Silicon Valley startup, like the front runners in this AI race. They're doing pretty well.
I'd say they're doing the best.
So Microsoft starts investing into OpenAI. Why not? Microsoft has, what's the thing? Clippy, which they rebranded as Copilot. They have the Bing AI, which wants world domination.
Which is bad.
Which is bad. They had to improve that. So why not throw some money at OpenAI? They kind of invested so much that Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO, was at the OpenAI event, just kind of like partnership there.
Microsoft was at the OpenAI event.
Yeah, Satya was on stage at the thing.
Oh.
So they like partners.
Okay.
A lot of money there. So then on November 18th, the OpenAI board informed Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, that he was fired. Completely rocked the internet. Sam did not know why. The board wasn't very clear. They just kind of told him in a lot of words, we're going in a different direction. We don't like how not transparent you've been, or something like that.
Is this a CEO they hired, or is this the CEO who started it?
I believe he's the founder.
Wow.
Yeah, college dropout to create OpenAI's chatbot. So he's the founder.
I will always think that if you found something and if it's growing, you shouldn't be the CEO of it.
Yeah, I don't know. But he had some kind of disagreement with the board, and he's out.
Wow.
So he tweeted, I loved my time at OpenAI. It was transformative for me personally and hopefully the world a little bit. Most of all, I loved working with such talented people. We'll have more to say about what's next later. And then just a little salute emoji. And that was it. So just a couple hours after that, the co-founder and former board member of OpenAI, Greg Brockman, announces that he is leaving. And both of these guys announced this on X via a post. So Altman is gone. That's kind of crazy. So then 3 high-level researchers for OpenAI quit. So now all these like co-founders and executives are leaving. So this isn't exactly good. Sam Altman then says on November 18th that he has a new venture in mind.
Who said this?
Sam Altman did. He's the type of guy who, if he did leave and started another company, like, he's Sam Altman.
Right.
So it's like how all of the Tesla engineers left and started Lucid, and then investors were just like, y'all are Tesla, basically. You know what you're doing. Here's money.
Yeah.
Or Saudi said that.
What did Apple employees leave and go work for? Like a lot of them did?
Nothing. I thought. Weren't
the company, nothing.
I thought a bunch of Apple employees left there. So that's kind of big. So then OpenAI board starts talking with Sam to return as CEO because they realized that, you know what, that wasn't a great idea. So then there's all of that. A bunch of OpenAI employees start tweeting or reposting his tweet post with heart emojis. So you have all of these OpenAI employees just reposting heart emojis to like show their support for Sam. So you had all these employees posting the hearts, and they had all these conditions, and they basically said by 5 p.m. on November 18th, we want the entire board to retire and Sam to be back, or else we're all leaving.
All of them?
A
Or
lot
most of them?
500 of the 700 employees signed a petition that said that they will leave.
Wow.
The 5 p.m. deadline passed. The board is still there. Sam is not back. So it's just kind of chaos there. No one knows what's going on. Everyone sort of goes to bed. Then we wake up to a tweet from Satya Nadella. Remember him? CEO of Microsoft. The tweet goes, "We remain committed to our partnership with OpenAI and have confidence in our product roadmap, our ability to continue to innovate with everything we announced at Microsoft Ignite, and in continuing to support our customers and partners. We look forward to getting to know Emmett Shear and OpenAI's new leadership team and working with them. And we're extremely excited to share the news that Sam Altman and Greg Brockman, together with colleagues, will be joining Microsoft to lead a new advanced AI research team."
No way.
So Satya just goes, "Oh, really? You're a free agent? Let's sign this dude." So now Sam Altman is at Microsoft, and all of these employees who love Sam Altman are now reaching out to Microsoft.
Wow.
So Microsoft tells all of the employees basically that they have a spot at Microsoft.
Oh, Microsoft loves Sam.
Yeah, they do. More than 500 current OpenAI staffers say that Microsoft has assured us that there are positions for all OpenAI employees at this new subsidiary should we choose to join. That's from The Verge. So Microsoft is basically working to acquire this entire company for free. Then it turns out Sam Altman is still trying to come back to OpenAI. And then there's like this whole, is he joining Microsoft?
Is he wanting to go back to OpenAI, or is he wanting OpenAI
He
back?
wants to go back to OpenAI because like the dude, he went from the CEO of like the hottest AI company in the world to like a Microsoft employee. So like he kind of stepped down a little bit.
But he got fired, so he had to be hired somewhere else.
Right. He wants to return to OpenAI. It doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Do you think Microsoft will just try to buy the OpenAI branding?
Who knows? That's kind of where we are now. Sam is still trying to return. Nothing's certain, but he has a position there, and the entire OpenAI, like all of the employees, have guaranteed spots at Microsoft. And that's kind of where this is changing. This was changing by the hour.
Yeah.
It's kind of slowed down. Next episode, we'll have an update on what happens, but that is crazy. They bought OpenAI for $0 if this all goes through, which just, that doesn't happen. A company doesn't fall apart that quickly. This is kind of giving me like Tesla vibes when you talk about how much loyalty and respect employees have for their CEO.
Yeah.
Like Tesla and maybe not X, because when you took over X, everyone was like getting fired and stuff. But
I was about to say, this is like the opposite of Twitter.
So honestly, right now, who knows what's going to happen? He may end up at Microsoft. Microsoft may end up becoming OpenAI and just having ChatGPT. Which is insane.
Honestly, if this has to go anywhere, that's, I'm assuming, what would happen.
Yeah.
Like, the board is obviously going to take whatever offer Microsoft throws at them because it will be a high amount of money because it's Microsoft.
Imagine
And they literally just have infinite money.
Yeah, because they don't have to invest anymore. They just
Right.
have all of that, like all of the resources that come with that.
Mm-hmm.
Clippy would be so powerful.
Well, Clippy isn't a thing anymore.
Copilot
It's
would be
so bad.
So next episode, we'll see what happens. But for now, this is definitely something that we're watching like constantly.
Yeah, like
This is huge. All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we will talk about the greatest news of the week. Your green bubbles may be gone,
but not really.
but not
We'll
really.
be right back.
The holiday season is approaching and the Complete Backyard has you covered. Whether you need a hot tub, a pool for the summer, an outdoor kitchen, or pretty much anything that can be put in your backyard, the Complete Backyard is where you should look. For a consultation, you can go to thecompletebackyard.com.
So, throughout most of Apple's history, there have been attempts to be able to use iMessage on an Android device.
Why, you may ask? Because that is a huge lock-in to the iPhone.
It is the lock-in.
That is the reason why people buy iPhones. It's so that they're a blue bubble.
And because iMessage is good. Like,
right.
it's just a good messaging platform.
For the next 20 minutes, for the whole rest of the episode, every time we talk about iMessage being good, we live in the United States. If you're listening to this and you don't live in the US, then you're this doesn't really apply to you because y'all just use WhatsApp.
Right.
And you have no problems.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in China, you use WeChat, which is government controlled. Yeah. But, in America, we have iMessage and we have this problem. So how do you get people to leave the iPhone? I mean, what you want to do now is replicate iMessage, or at least that's what apps like Sunbird and Beeper tried to do,
right.
And they kind of succeeded. So
I'd say they did, but sketchily. There's an app called Sunbird. They did a deal with Nothing, so Nothing makes the Nothing Phone 2, and that phone has a Chats app that has Sunbird integrated. So what Sunbird does is it lets you use iMessage on your Android device. So you sign into your Apple ID. Which, if you have an Android device, you probably don't have, so you have to make one.
You can just make one.
It's free.
An important asterisk is that it can't be associated with a phone number. So if you have an iPhone, you have to make a new Apple ID.
That makes sense, I guess,
which is
technologically.
a little annoying. And you just sign in, and it lets you use iMessage on your Nothing Phone 2.
Yeah.
So,
well, it did.
How does it work? One would ask. When you sign in the app, it is signing into your Apple ID on a Mac Mini.
On a little Mac farm.
Server rack somewhere in the country.
Do you think with the Mac Minis, do you think they just have the boards, not even the things? Or do you think they literally just stacked 50 Mac Minis on a shelf in a cubicle and just plugged a bunch of HDMI and power cords in?
They'd still want all the I/O stuff, so maybe they keep them in the case.
Why would they want the I/O stuff?
Power. I guess that's it. So maybe not.
But I mean, it'd be easier to manage that way. So they probably do. There's probably some slats of Mac Minis along a wall.
But this means that your Apple ID is constantly staying logged into a random server Mac Mini, which means that when you text through your Nothing Phone 2, all of your iMessages are on a random Mac Mini server.
Right, but
so it's a security risk to say the least.
Okay, but
it's not ideal.
Listen, if it's a server farm of Mac Minis, they probably disabled video output. So somebody couldn't just walk in, plug in a monitor into one of them and be like, "Wow, look at this person's chats."
Yeah, but
I mean, still, it could
all
be
of your were encrypted
Yeah.
messages now live on a server that's not controlled by Apple, or it's controlled by Sunbird.
Okay, but realistically, what is Sunbird doing?
I just don't you should not do this. You shouldn't give all of your iMessages to this random server. It's not a good idea.
It's not ideal, but it's better than no iMessage, me personally.
I don't think it is. I
Or
want
just
my encryption back.
Buy a 2012 MacBook Pro, set it up.
I mean, you have the Tim Cook example when he was asked, why doesn't Apple support RCS, which we'll get to.
What did he say?
The guy said, since, the green bubble thing exists, since y'all don't support RCS, when I try to send my mom a photo, she can't see it. It's all blurry. And he just said, buy your mom an iPhone. So this is what people have to resort to now.
I would be okay with this if I knew Sunbird took necessary precautions, like they disabled any kind of remote software. I mean, you have to first of all trust Sunbird. But if it was proven by somebody trustworthy, I don't know, like Mr. Who's the Boss went and viewed this the Sunbird Mac farm, right? If we knew confirmed that there was no ability to have a display output, if it has a fail, throw it away. Or
it doesn't even have to have a display output though. The simple fact is the fact that your messages are stored somewhere.
I know. Hold on. You can't access that computer could not be accessed at all. It is locked down. Besides the fact that it is plugged into an Ethernet connection, nothing on macOS works. They could strip it down just to the iMessages app with software, and then call it a day.
Yeah.
For every single Mac, which they probably don't do. I would bet that they don't do that. But if it's something like that would be done, then this would be perfectly fine. This would be just texting from your MacBook. You're connecting to local Wi-Fi networks on Starbucks Wi-Fi, and you text people, you Google stuff, you log into your stuff. Guarantee you half the people who have work in public spaces don't use VPNs. So the argument's kind of
I don't know. I would not do this, and I'll never get the chance to. Because
it's
as of November 21st, today, Sunbird is shutting down its iMessage app for Android due to security risks and allegations that they're actually not encrypted messages.
That's funny. That's an interesting little history bit, though, in the whole Apple versus RCS.
And it doesn't even matter. Because, ladies and gentlemen...
They did it. Apple did the impossible. Apple has implemented... or will be implementing
in RCS. 2024.
In 2024. So it's not immediate.
RCS, the Rich Communication Standard.
Yes, they have.
There we go. Done.
Was it Google's fault?
Was it Google's fault?
Google and Samsung's fault. All their campaigning
No, I think that made
Apple
it worse.
Sucks. Really?
Yeah, I think that was just dumb. It was the EU. It was 100% the threat of the EU. The EU made them switch to USB-C. The EU has now made them allow sideloading. They've pushed USB-C, sideloading, and now RCS. The EU is awesome in this case.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored by the EU. We don't know a single soul affiliated with the EU.
But if you want to meet us,
but we'd love to interview y'all.
We'd love to.
Because when it comes to forcing Apple to do stuff, EU is the GOAT, man.
For real. USB-C, that would not have happened at least for another half a decade.
Yeah.
Without the EU.
Now
RCS never would happen.
So
they would lock iMessage even more.
What does this mean? The green bubbles are still there. Your messaging app is not going to change. It's just an over-the-air update. You're not going to notice much of a change until you start texting a green bubble buddy. Then you will have access to read receipts, functioning group chats, full quality images, full quality videos, all of that fun stuff. It basically means that all of the stuff you like about iMessage, you can now enjoy with your green bubble friends.
So nothing will change from texting iPhone users to Android users.
Right. iMessage is still the same. You still have blue and green bubbles, but when it's a green bubble, you now have full quality images and group chats that won't break.
Yeah. I wonder how long it takes for somebody to make an app that you sideload onto the phone.
Oh no.
That allows you to change the color of bubbles by just changing input values.
I think The Verge reached out to Apple for a statement, and or it may have been 9 to 5 Mac. But Apple did say it's still green. So we still have that
for
problem.
them, but
right.
Somebody makes an app that allows you to change it. Because if you can sideload, that means you have access to a base operating system. Essentially, you have access to some sub-files.
Fortnite's back on the App Store because the Epic Game Store.
What?
If you can sideload apps, it means other app stores.
Oh.
Which is so we could do a whole episode just on that because Apple is already in the midst of so many lawsuits with their 30% App Store cut. Now you can just sideload a different app store. So now, if you're Spotify and you don't want Apple taking 30% of your money, you just say download Spotify via the Spotify App Store.
Or like, whoa.
It opens up the iPhone to a ton of stuff. It opens it up to security risks.
And if you don't know what you're doing,
right,
this is so dangerous.
Sideload, a random thing onto your phone.
Even by accident.
Right.
Your iPhone stores everything about you.
This is why Apple has not done sideloading, because of the security risk.
Yeah.
Keep in mind the iPhone is used by so many people. And unfortunately, a lot of people who don't know what they're doing. They just buy an iPhone because it's an iPhone.
A lot of grandparents getting those carrier deals.
Right.
Switching from Metro PCS to T-Mobile.
People walk into the Apple store a month before the new iPhone comes out, and they will just say, give me the newest iPhone. And then they'll say, we have the normal and the Pro. And they'll say, give me the Pro, because it's, Pro. And they don't realize they could wait a month. They don't realize what they're buying. People just blindly buy the iPhone.
Right.
And if you have people blindly sideloading stuff, that can get sketchy.
Very quickly.
If you don't know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, you'll be fine.
Even still, it's still dangerous.
Yeah. It's when you start having fun. You download an OS skin via sideload, and then your iPhone is
bricked. No, it's not. They might not be bricked. It will just be siphoning data out of your phone for the rest of the time that you have that phone. Because that will give apps essentially access to everything that you do. Because apps can allow input data even when the app isn't open.
Yeah, I don't know how Apple's gonna regulate that, but we shall see. This will be very interesting. But for the time being, this is huge. I'm very happy.
A very uncommon W for Apple.
Never thought we'd see the day. And it's a W for the EU.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The EU is awesome when it comes to Apple regulation. They are on point. Last thing, speaking of siphoning data, AT&T released their network metrics for the Eras Tour for Taylor Swift. A bunch of stadiums set records for amounts of data usage. The tour date with the most data usage was AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. When Taylor Swift was there that day during the concert at the stadium, 29 terabytes of AT&T 5G data were used. That includes millimeter wave and mid-band 5G. Just AT&T, not T-Mobile and Verizon. Just AT&T, 29 terabytes.
Jeez.
Which is insane. In comparison, the 2022 Super Bowl in SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, and SoFi Stadium's awesome. Mm-hmm. At that stadium, at the Super Bowl, it was 13 terabytes, and this was 29. It's unreal.
Yay for America.
It's unreal. On that note, we will end it. Happy Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff to be grateful for. RCS, ChatGPT, all of that.
Everything. And your family, guys.
Yes, of course. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or would like to come on to talk about almond protein,
or your changes that you make in the EU,
or you're an EU representative, you can reach out to us on the platform with the least advertisers doom. Now. X, Twitter. I'm at Utterly Drew.
And I'm at Cole WW Web.
We will see you in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys.